This episode is brought to you by Mint Mobile. Switching to Mint Mobile is the easiest way to save in 2024. Wireless plans are $15 a month when you purchase a 3-month plan. To get this new customer offer, go to mintmobile.com/TFS. Additional taxes, fees, and restrictions apply. See Mint Mobile for details. Hello and welcome to Talk from Superheroes. Hey everybody, I'm Andrew Ivamy.
And I'm Diana McCullum.
And you're listening to Talk from Superheroes, where every week we discuss a piece of heroic television or film. And this week on the podcast, we got to get out.
We're trying to just get out of here. We're looking for ways to maybe try to remove ourselves from a situation.
To remove ourselves from
out.
the city that never sleeps, which went weird in the year 1997.
Oh, we all remember the weird 1997 year that New York had.
We all remember the no man's land situation of the 90s. This week we are talking about John Carpenter's Escape from New York.
We are talking about Escape from New York. Now you just now you made me really wish Dark Knight Rises had come out in 1997. That would have been incredible.
Oh, yeah.
That would have been cool.
Yeah, that would have all tied it together very nicely.
The meta.
Yeah. Carpenter may not have predicted the future, but he would have predicted future iterations of what we thought the future would look like. There would be some layers upon layers.
Yeah.
I
believe it.
But we're talking about Escape from New York this week on the podcast. We're just having fun this week.
We're just having fun. We kind of just picked a movie that we like and wanted to talk about. Was this movie remade ever? I feel like it was.
No, it wasn't. No, some John Carpenter things have, not the Escape series.
Oh, well, They're really missing out.
I'm okay with it. I think that this is just like the vibe that's just right. You know what I mean? I don't know who or how would do anything like this today.
I mean, I think we could figure it out if we put our minds to it, but I do like that John Carpenter was like, you can make as many Halloweens as you want, but no more escapes.
Yeah.
Escapes are locked down.
Like, I think if you were to remake this, the obvious choice would be his son, Wyatt Russell.
Oh, well, yeah. I mean, Monarch's already done it, but, like, just do it again.
Just do it again. Like, do it again. Yeah, Monarch did it in their own way. But, I think, the obvious choice, I would say Jordan Peele with Wyatt Russell. I think someone who's got that horror thriller flavor, but also understands, how to do Camp B film vibes as well, which Jordan Peele hasn't really done, but I know he understands, and, you can see it from the sketch comedy pedigree. So I'm like, I feel like there's something special there. That's where my head would go, but I also don't think it's needed in the world.
I don't think it's needed in the world. See, my head immediately went to, I apologize that I don't know your name, whoever's been directing the John Wick series.
Oh, okay.
Kind of a new, moderner vibe, but just as badass.
Interesting. Okay, I can see where your vibes are at.
Those are my vibes.
I love it.
My instant vibes.
I always appreciate your vibes. And as well, we're talking about Escape from New York today. For anyone who wants more of these vibes or vibes adjacent.
More of removing yourself from a city vibes.
If you want to see more American cities that went wrong and Kurt Russell needs to get out of there. Right now, over on the Patreon, this month's Patreon exclusive episode is us talking about Escape from LA.
Which is going to be fun. As of this recording, I haven't seen it yet, and I'm very excited to find out why two American cities are wretched.
But as you listen to it, we haven't done it yet. But when you're listening to this right now, we will have done it. It'll be up over on the Patreon right now.
Future me has seen it.
Yeah. So if you head over to patreon.com/fromsuperheroes, patreon.com/fromsuperheroes, check out the different subscription levels. We post an exclusive episode there every single month. Escape from LA is live over there right now. So go check it out. But let's get into the thing we're here for today. Let's talk about Escape from New York. All right, we have made it out. We have watched Escape from New York. Let's start with the usual, the simple question. Diana, did you like it?
Oh, yeah. It's a great movie. It's not a love. It is just slightly too slowly paced to get me to a love, but it is an incredibly high like. There is so much to like here. Mostly Kurt Russell. He's incredible as Snake Plissken. But also just the writing of Snake is so modern, even though this is a 1981 movie. We'll get into more of that eventually. But yeah, just like fun idea, but like zany, but not too zany. They don't like really crank up the craziness here, and just incredible set work, costuming. You're just having a fun, different time, but you're also like, oh, this is expertly filmed and shot, and you have this cool like dynamic of the worlds of New York compared to like the militaristic police state across the bridges. It's a really great movie. There's really like, it's one of those ones where before we sat down, we're like, what would we change? So that's going to be an interesting section when we get to the end. It's just solid back to front. It's a solid Snake, which we'll also get into later, I assume. Andrew, do you like Escape from New York?
Oh yeah, I think it's terrific. I think it's a little below a love for me, but it's terrific. It's a high grade. I think it's fantastic. You know, The Thing is my favorite of John Carpenter and Russell, but
yeah, like some kind of weird trilogy they made.
The combo. I mean, it's common for directors and actors to be like, we pair up and do a thing.
They're all just so different, though.
They are so different, but I think The Thing is closer to like a perfect movie. This is really good. This is great B action movie vibes. It knows what it's doing. It's very aware. It successfully does everything that it sets out to do. The vibes are good. The visuals are good. But I agree, there are a few moments where like the slow pace is purposeful, and I think a lot of the time successfully lands of like quiet, just kind of tonal pieces. But then there are a few moments where like it actually could move a little quicker or give me a little bit more in between each scene, add a little bit more meat to the bones of this. So yeah, it's paced a little slow or missing a little bit of meat in between each setup and setting. So I agree with like, I think that's what kind of drags this down predominantly, is that it's a little bit of a quiet, slow watch, especially today. But it looks great. It feels great. There's a lot to love about this.
There is a lot to love. Yeah, I agree that probably in the 80s, this like wasn't action-packed still, but it didn't feel as slow. It is, because as you said, and I completely agree, the pacing is purposeful. It is not like we didn't have enough money, so we couldn't do any action scenes. It's like, no, you've got like, your sets look incredible, this costume work, this whole world you've built is incredible. I believe you had the money, and like, this is how you wanted to show us the world and set it up and display it. But it did need a bit more like energy and pep every now and then.
Yeah.
But it is like absolutely purposeful. Like, I will actually say that's one of the things that I like admire most kind of about the opening of this movie, because it opens and it's a movie that's like, this is a new world we have to explain, and that's always kind of a drag when there's like a scroll or something, or it's like time to read some shit and we'll tell you about the world. And there's like a narration and then a map. But then the movie spends about 5 minutes just letting you live in the world instead of telling you about the world. So like, we see guys trying to cross the water and they get blown up by the helicopter. And that's not related to the plot. That's just being like, this is what this world's like.
Yeah.
This is like, without us just like, this is showing instead of telling. And that's so much better.
Yeah.
But like, to actually spend time on that is just kind of rare these days, of like scenes that don't matter to the plot.
Yes.
You don't see it a lot anymore.
I get that. It is, and it's a really nice combination of scenes that are just set builders, I agree, that aren't particularly relevant, and then ones that jam a little bit extra in there, which is also a great form of storytelling. So it kind of juxtaposes between those two of the like, here's a raft escape. So like, you know, we got the title card of like, here's the premise. Manhattan is now a prison island. No one gets in or out. Here we go. It's like, okay, cool. That's the premise. We're on board. Then it's like some people are floating, trying to escape. They get shot down. It's like, okay, to reiterate how you can't escape. I get it. That's cool. You cannot
escape from New York.
Yes.
All right. It will be difficult for Snake.
This is going to be the title of this movie will be a challenge.
Oh, okay. So it's not going to be a walk in the park. It's not just like, do I take the 905 or do I take the Brooklyn Bridge? It's it's not just like normally escaping from New York.
It's not a normal escape. So it's like it sets that up. But then they also have brilliant stuff like the president's plane going down, and it's like a terrorist attack that like. This movie does a really good job of being like, a bunch of shit's happening that isn't the plot to this movie, but is the plot to this movie. Like, things are, and we always compliment this in movies, things are in motion, and the world existed before this movie started, and the world will continue to exist after this movie ends. With whether it be that, like, there's like the UN summit that's happening, and they're trying to prevent war, and like this and that, and there's a terrorist attack on the president's plane, and as it's going down, the woman who has taken it over and crashing it is like, this is because of our police state and our authoritarian police state that we live under with the broken prison system. And like, she goes on a rant of like the state of the world that they live in, and like, I'm part of the rebellion, and gives the rebellion and the resistance a name, and just a bunch of things that doesn't feel like a full exposition dump because they're not plot relevant. It feels more fun world building.
Yeah, it does. Yeah, I love exactly what you said. Yeah, this world is kind of always chaotically in motion, and nothing is really planned. It's kind of just like always working with what you have. Like, you know, they did plan to crash the president's plane, I guess, but they didn't plan to crash it in New York. And the Duke didn't plan to kidnap the president that day. And they didn't plan to send Snake Plissken in. But at the same time, all of those things were in motion. Like, we don't even know what Snake got arrested for. Oh, I guess robbing the reserve
They
or
say,
whatever.
yeah, robbing
but
the
like,
reserve.
he
yeah.
just happens to be there. But it doesn't feel like, oh, he just happens to be there. It really does feel like they're like, we got to work with what we have at all times because this world is crazy.
Shit's going nuts all the time.
The president is falling out of the sky, but everyone is so calm because this shit just happens all the time.
Yeah.
And it makes such a cool, like, kind of imbalance that you, like, kind of can't put your finger on of, like, oh, the world is just being destroyed, but they're also like 9 years into the world being really shitty because they're like, this prison got set up like 9 years ago.
Right.
So it's like, they're all like, yeah, we blew up some guys who were trying to cross the river. It's the 8th time this week.
Well, and I think the regularity of problems, or the implied regularity of problems, is what really sells it and what makes some of the exposition dumps in this movie work better than other film, because it feels like this is always kind of going sideways. And a lot of movies will set up coincidental exposition to let you know how remarkable today is. Where, like, I would say that the lesser version of, like, to write the cheesy, badly written version of what the Escape from New York would be in the setup. It would be a, like, no one has ever escaped from this prison in the past 13 years it's been operated. There's a plane in our flight path. Well, that's never happened since I became the warden 8 years ago, because I'm a hard ass. I don't care if those 2 people died today. All I make sure is that my record is spotless as the new warden of, and it would just be a series of, like, identifying things to be like, this doesn't normally happen. Here's why the plot of this movie is remarkable. And it just sets up coincidences in bad writing, and that makes things feel less special by trying to make it feel special. But just something about, like, the warden, or whatever his character is called, Hawk, just smoking a cigarette and being like, there's something in our airspace? What does this code word mean? And just, like, not knowing, but kind of caring because it's his job, but also being like, yeah, I'm at work today. I'm going to find out what this code word is. What are we doing? There's something about that makes it feel more magical and makes it feel way more interesting a world.
It does make it feel more interesting. Yeah, it's kind of like that competence porn factor of, like, this guy's so chill about blowing up people that are crossing the river and, like, planes just being in their airspace, that when he's shook by something, which is the computer going, Air Force One, Air Force One, Air Force One, you're like, oh, this is a special day for him.
Yeah.
His other days seem pretty special to me, just blowing people up daily.
Yeah.
But this is a special day. So it's like, oh, and he's, like, a little bit shook, and he's not normally shook. But the plot isn't that he's shook. But you're right. Yeah, every other movie would be like, these are the obstacles in Snake's way. It's this guy who won't listen to Snake because of his perfect record.
Yes. Yeah. Yep.
Instead, it's a guy who's like, I know Snake's going to betray us, so I'm going to put a bomb in his neck.
And even the implication that they know each other by reputation. Like, when he's just like, you flew the plane over Stalingrad, and, like, Snake being like, I heard about you too, Hawk, and then both of them just going, And that being it, I think is the exact right amount of mystery to that. And again, like the bad writing example of that is like, I was the commander of that mission. You weren't supposed to go off books. You're a rogue and I've always known it. But just to be like, yeah, no, I know about you too. Love it. Nom nom. I love it.
Yeah, even though I don't feel like anyone like Snake Plissken actually exists, it feels very real.
Yeah.
Like, people don't talk to each other I was in Leningrad in 82 and you were supposed to get my people out and you blew us up instead. They would just be like, Leningrad, 82. You'd be like, oh, yeah, my bad.
Just shorthand shit.
Yeah, it would just be like when he meets Brain, he does the same thing.
Brain apparently was on an old criminal crew with him.
You left me in Fiesta Bob or whatever the other guy's name was, some name drop out of nowhere.
Yeah.
And then Brain's like, yeah, I did. Sorry, you were late. And that's it. No backstory, no we just kind of know Brain will betray sometimes. Or not even betray, but like give up on you.
And even not knowing what the switch in Snake's life was. To go from this war hero who's like, they think they said like the youngest person to meet the president and receive presidential honors, to I robbed the Federal Reserve, to go from like the most famous war hero to the most famous criminal is kind of wild. To go from like General Patton to Wyatt Earp within a year and not tell us what went on there. I'm like, that's fucking cool. I love that too.
That is cool. And
I love everything we don't know about this.
I mean, because it explains why the military and the criminals are just as impressed by Snake.
Yeah.
They're like, the criminals are like, this guy was the best soldier in the world, and then he came to our side. And the military is like, this guy's the best soldier in the world. Maybe we can get him back on our side. Everyone wants a piece of Snake.
And also, he's just cool as hell. He drips cool. Of course you want a piece of him.
He's just cool as hell. He is... Normally, when a movie doesn't give the main character an arc, it's bad. And in this one, he has no arc just because he doesn't want to be here and he's already so cool.
Yeah.
He is not interested in what's happening. He is fully against his will, bomb in the neck placed into this situation. So he's like, I have no growth as a human being to do.
Yeah. Yeah.
I am perfect.
Yeah.
That's why I'm the lead of this film.
And I think that Kurt Russell plays it perfectly as well, of like that cowboy hero of like, I'm just wandering through town, but also without a conscience. He's not trying to make the town better. He's literally trying to pass through town.
I have never once seen a movie with a hero that I still rooted for throughout the entire thing who just lets randos die.
No attempt to help anyone.
Not a single side character who dies. Like, he barely reaches a hand in the hole when the girl in the cafe goes through it, and the crazies, air quote, are gonna eat her, I assume, is what's about to happen.
I think so, because she says they've run out of food, which is why they're coming up.
Yeah, so he sticks his hand in the hole but gives up almost immediately. There's a drugged girl in the basement of that theater that he's just like, not my problem. And he's literally got a ticking time bomb in his head.
Yep.
So you're just like, I guess, man.
This is bleak.
Holy shit.
It's dark.
I've never seen a movie do this.
The nicest thing he does is give that woman a cigarette before she is cannibalized. That's the nicest thing that the hero of this movie does.
Yeah, I think he maybe gives Maggie a gun, but that might be it. But also Maggie's watching his back. That's for him.
That's functional.
That's functional.
That's functional at that point. Mm-hmm. Yeah, I agree. He is, and they really go out of their way to give him the opposite of a save the cat moment.
Let the cat die moment.
Let the cat die moment. A save the cat is a film and television trope of to show that the hero is the hero, a cat's in trouble, and they save a cat. So even if they're kind of a grumpy anti-hero, they always save the cat. It's also the name of a book on screenwriting that many people are familiar with. But just a quick aside of that expression if our listeners don't know. So that is usually the, what in film and television terminology is the hero has proven themselves to be a hero. Not this guy. And it still works. They go full, not even anti-hero, just blasé.
He's not bringing harm upon anyone. He is literally I have to get to the president
Neutral.
True neutral. That middle square.
Yeah.
Yeah, put him on like Celebrity Boxes or whatever that show was.
Yeah. Wow.
I don't know what the show was.
Hollywood Squares, I think is what you're thinking of. But you already had a grid system metaphor. You didn't need to take it one further, but we're there now.
I mean, they never made a show out of alignment charts.
They didn't.
So
yeah,
I assume Hollywood Squares, they put you in your
and
alignment.
characters in there.
That's
the alignment.
I think when they did the Hollywood Squares boxes, they put each celebrity in their alignment chart position.
You know what? I'm coming around on this idea now. I'm not saying you're right, but I'm saying what you've created is a cool new show.
I think I've made the 2024 version of Hollywood Squares. It's kind of fun.
Yeah, RPG alignment chart Hollywood Squares. I think it would end up with too many squares. It would more be like alignment chart connect 4. That could be the new version.
Okay.
Yeah.
Oh, because
there'd be more. There's more squares.
No, I think they match up. It's 9, isn't it?
Is it 9?
I thought Hollywood's because there's a middle square on Hollywood Squares.
Oh shit, you might be right. I might be
I think you're
miscounting the
good.
squares. I think we're
we're
good.
good. I think we're good.
I think it is still tic-tac-toe.
All right,
yeah.
well, trademark. No one steal that.
Yeah.
That's
Patent pending.
ours.
This is our idea.
Patent
Patent pending. Patent
We're gonna make some calls.
Yes, we're gonna make some calls about
gonna make
this.
some calls.
I don't hate this. Sincerely,
Snake Plissken's the middle.
I don't fucking hate this.
Like Snake Plissken, true neutral. We gotta fill in the other squares.
True, complete middle, just doesn't give a shit about any of it. And I love it. I love it. I love that he's just an absurd man in a tank top with the dumbest gun in the fucking world. I love it.
What's dumb about the gun?
None of it makes sense.
There's a lot of attachments. The fact that he lands and spends an entire block of New York putting the gun together.
Yeah, and like, why wasn't it already put together?
Why did you get in the plane and the gun wasn't put together?
It's an Uzi with like a sniper rifle scope on it, which is just like an automatic submachine gun where it was like, if he used the scope, he would look at someone at the end of the street, pull the trigger, and one bullet would hit one building and another bullet would hit a totally different building or be in the sky, because that's not how that gun works at all. Why you have a silencer,
It's a stealth mission.
Everyone hears his gunshots at every point in the movie.
It's still too loud. Silencers aren't perfect.
They actually don't make it that silent.
No, they make it a little more silent.
So it's just a wild gun. It's so big and obtrusive.
He loves sights, because the one he gives to Maggie also has a laser sight on it.
Yeah, revolver with like a sight on it.
Because he's missing an eye.
So he needs to sight all of his.
So if it's easier for him because you only put one eye on it that way.
Oh, maybe.
I think that actually might.
That's why he sights it. Okay.
You know what?
Yeah.
Perfect character.
Now the gun makes sense.
Now the gun, at least the
Uzi sniper rifle.
The Uzi sniper rifle. It all fits with Snake Plissken.
Yeah, and then he's got a tank top which has zippers on the shoulders that don't do anything.
And I will say, I love the tank top. I like that it's got a little bit of flair to it. There's some kind of deleted scene, or they just didn't care, where he finds it again because he's not wearing the tank top when he does the fight to the death.
Yes, yeah. And when he does the boxing match or whatever.
Yeah, and then when he goes back to the World Trade Center, he suddenly got the tank top back on again. So I'm like, so you went and rifled through some stuff
until you found your exact shirt that you're a fan of.
Because your 2 watches you found on men, but you didn't see a dude wearing your tank top.
That is true.
You should have seen a dude wearing your tank top and taken it back. That would have been fun.
And that wasn't even his tank. Like, that was like, it's also the Army issued him that tank top.
Oh, you think that was Army issue?
Well, because they show what he shows up in. And what he shows up in is like, I think a regular outfit and his leather jacket. And he tries to keep his leather jacket and doesn't. But I'm pretty sure they give him those camo pants and tank top.
Oh, I thought he came in them. But
Did he come in them?
I'm not.
I'd have to go back and
certain.
rewatch it to be sure.
I will not say definitely that he did.
Fun little zippers there.
Fun little zippers. I also really like, even though this kind of counterpoints to what I said about I think this movie needs a little bit more pep and energy, it is very funny how over and over again Snake Plissken's attitude is, this might as well happen. Like,
yes.
Like literally in any other movie, and I mean literally any other movie, you put your lead into a prison city that he's never been in before. He wakes up from being unconscious and gets thrown into a ring where he has to fight to his death. Any other lead would be like, what the fuck is this? I got to fight to my death? Or, do I get a bat? What's happening? And he doesn't say a word. He willingly gets in the ring and just goes, Yeah, it's a bat. All right. He's so over everything. It's so funny.
This day and life sucks, and I love that. I love it.
And he knows it does. And he knows there's no hope for it to get better.
When he is flying in and he has the moment talking to Hawk where he's like, and Hawk is like, we're going to be out of communication in a bit. Does that mean I can't count on you? Yes. Good. Him saying good, like the different types of ways that he finds to say fuck you throughout this movie are so fun. And to just be tired. Because that's another thing as well that I think like was kind of rarer for the 80s, which is an action star that is funny without being a comedy prop piece. Ooh. Because they use comedy in subversion. Even things like when he leaves the base and he says to Hawk, he's like, when I get back, I'm gonna kill you. And that's very much like a Schwarzenegger action hero line of like I'll be like I'm going to kill you later, and then he kills him later, and the audience is like, yeah, he did the thing. But to get back later and Hawk be like, are you going to kill me now? And he just goes, I'm tired. I'm tired is the response. The subversion of that is a joke, but he's not slapsticky. Like, he's not being a joke. He's just delivering the joke, which is the perfect place to put that.
It's absolutely perfect. This is a movie made for people in their 30s and above. Because we're all tired.
People who are tired will appreciate Snake Plissken as a character.
I'm watching this movie, and I'm like, he's been awake for at least 24 hours straight, except for like the 2 hours he was unconscious, which I don't think is very restful.
No, I don't think so.
He multiple times, and I mean multiple, had to walk 50 flights of stairs at the World Trade Center.
Yes.
2 of those times with an arrow in his knee.
Yes.
Had to save the president, had to fight for the death, had to do a lot of things. He is too tired to kill that guy.
Yeah.
He's just plain too tired. And I get it.
Yeah.
And not like, and I like that this like, it's not too tired and that kind of like, I put my arm around the love interest of the movie and we go home and I'm not too tired for that. Like, it's just like.
It's just like, I'm actually tired.
I need a hospital, but I won't go to one.
Yeah.
Too cool.
Yeah.
I'm sure it'll heal itself.
Awesome.
He's so cool.
He's so cool.
He's so fucking cool.
Oh, I just realized on the this might as well happen energy of him. When he actually once he rescues the president and he's bringing the president up to the top of the World Trade Center to get his glider and go. At that point, Brain and his wife are up there because they figured out where his glider was and they were going to steal it and leave. But I guess led some of the crazies up there and are having a shootout on the roof. Like
he just enters a scene as it's happening. Yeah.
Which is, like, again, great writing. Awesome that he enters the scene as it's happening. But his exhaustion of, like, seeing people blow up his spot and fuck it up. Like, he has successfully made it there with the president without being followed. And to be like, this nerd figured out where it was and led a bunch of people here, and now it's ruined for everyone. Are you kidding me? And him being like, this might as well happen. I guess I'll walk back down those 50 flights of stairs still with this arrow in my leg, even though I could have just been done and out of here just now.
Yeah. He didn't have to go up and down at all. Because Brain blew up his plane.
Brain screwed it all up.
Brain blew up his spot. Yeah, Brain didn't really seem that smart, to be totally honest.
He
has book smarts and no street smarts.
He clearly has book smarts.
No street smarts.
Yes.
With Brain whatsoever.
Yeah. Well, I think that is also the implication of Brain of like the job that they did, that he's the Weasley one, that he comes up with a plan, but he will betray the leaders if a better opportunity comes in, which is what he does to Snake and the Duke, and I guess whoever was a part of Snake's team previously as well, who he was mad about. So I'm like, that actually is consistent with him. I kind of like that, where it's like, you're smart, but you're the Weasley one.
Yeah, it is incredible how there is so little information in this movie, but everyone fully fleshed out and exists beyond the scenes we see them in.
Yeah.
Like even just Cabby being like, oh, I normally don't drive around here, but I wanted to see the show. And I'm like, you just living a robust life in New York.
Yeah. He's just
seeing the sights. He's off Broadway.
Just enjoying a show. Just Ernest Borgnine having a terrific time playing the cabbie. The implication that he's been driving this since before the fall of New York and is just a dude who was like, I didn't want to leave New York.
Oh, I guess if it's 30 years, yeah, okay.
Yeah,
I didn't really track that.
Yeah,
that's
yeah.
why he's a nice guy.
Yeah. He's an old New Yorker. He's not a criminal. He's just a dude who never left home.
This does bring up so many questions for me about New York being a giant prison that I don't feel are answered. Like, did everyone leave? Was everyone supposed to leave? Did we just drop prisoners in with the regular civilians and they were like, what the fuck is this?
Oh yeah, the logistics are a nightmare.
Were there no other islands in America?
Right?
Like, I know Alcatraz is too small, but there's got to be some kind of medium between Manhattan and Alcatraz.
You gotta have a better island.
Than the most populated city in America.
Also, an island with other land masses on every side of it as well. Like an island that is connected from on every edge by a bridge. It's like you easily could have gotten an island that was off the coast and then not needed to worry about locking down 8 bridges.
Yeah,
but I
like-
guess the implication is that crime there got so bad that they needed to do something there. That was ground zero for crime, was New York.
Oh no, the crime.
Yeah.
Now I will say Canada set up great.
I love that they imply that we are still the place that people go to escape an authoritarian police state.
Oh, I was gonna say more. We have really good islands you could turn into prison. Either Prince Edward or Newfoundland.
That's not
great
bad.
choices.
Yeah.
They're true islands. No, only like Newfoundland's way out there.
Yeah,
as you
yeah.
know.
Newfoundland is ready to be our Australia within a moment's notice.
I mean, like people will die way sooner just from the weather.
Yeah. The weather will not be helpful.
weather will kill.
Yeah, to be fair,
New
New
York
York
is
winter
not.
can get pretty brisk.
Yeah,
Yeah.
you can.
Yeah.
It's not going to be easy. It's still worse in
Yeah,
worse
in Newfoundland. It's worse in
But
Newfoundland.
Prince Edward Island's also a great option.
Yes. Yeah, I see that. I see
So
that.
I don't know what the American is. Rhode Island an island?
I believe so.
It's got the
Never
word
been to
island
Rhode
in
Island,
it,
but there's
but-
island is right there.
I mean, Prince Edward Island, we built the big bridge that unislanded it.
Yeah. So
But-
but you know, one bridge is pretty. That's way easier.
You can bomb one bridge.
That's way easier than Manhattan. See, I thought you meant like the shout out to Canada.
Oh, because Snake was going to come here.
Yeah. They were like, we planted an explosive in you, so you can't just fly the glider to Canada and escape. And it's like, I love the implication that like America has gone off the deep end. It is a militarized police state. It is an authoritarian regime where like there is no equity. There is no there is no wealth distribution. It is chaos.
No trials,
crime,
no jury.
poor people. It is brutal out there, and it's like, and you want to get away to Canada. Canada is actually where like we don't extradite, I guess, because we're just like America's gone too far. We no longer extradite to the U.S. in this scenario. Like, I'm like I love hearing where we're at in this little universe.
I like hearing where we're at. I'm actually really glad Snake got stopped because I don't think he'd like Canada.
You don't think, huh?
I don't think Snake would fit in here. I don't think he'd have anything he wanted to do here.
I don't know.
We don't have cool people like him.
I actually I was gonna say that Snake I feel like would have strong I want to be left alone and be a lumberjack in Alberta Wolverine energy.
I think if he wanted to be left alone, he wouldn't be robbing the gold reserve.
Now I think economically things have gotten so messed up in the U.S. because
That's the only way to buy a house.
I literally like I think that it's just like he went from a decorated war hero where it's like clearly it's like they don't have good pay or assistance for their veterans, like no one's being taken care of, there's no social assistance programs in any way. It is just a police state where you are either serving or you are being oppressed, and those are your two options. So assuming in that scenario that there's anything happening in Canada, if Snake was at some point able to live a comfortable and happy life of service, I think that he could have strong Wolverine. I just want to be left alone.
I'm just working the lumber yards.
I'm just working the lumber yards. Like, let me just do my thing. I'm working in some kind of field of a natural resource or fishery or something like that. Like, let me go.
You know what? I can see it. I can see it a little bit more. I can't wait to watch Escape from LA now and find out what he's been doing for all those years. If he ever got to Canada, I'm sure it's going to come up.
Yeah, the Canada's going to come up again naturally.
Sure, it'll come up.
Canada's going to come up again naturally. Because he is also a shit disturber. Ooh, maybe this pushes him away from the true neutral of destroying the tape at the end. because he didn't need to do that for anything for anyone.
He was already out.
But he just fucking hates this country.
Just didn't like that president.
Yeah, doesn't like this president, doesn't like this country, just doesn't like any of it.
Yeah, might scoot him a little off.
That might scoot him a bit off. Yeah, to a slightly chaotic neutral.
I think we have to talk about even just briefly, like, this movie's impact on so many things. Like, off the top of my head, just watching it, I'm like, okay, so Suicide Squad, No Man's Land, and obviously Metal Gear Solid. Like, that's 3 huge, like, not IPs fully for the first 2, but like huge medias that have been like, yeah, we totally got that from Escape from New York.
Yes. Oh yeah, absolutely. Metal Gear Solid series of video games are like one of the biggest things in video games, and that first Metal Gear Solid, not the Metal Gear games on NES, but that PlayStation 1 Metal Gear Solid game, it just is Escape from New York. He is Snake. In the second game, he calls himself Pliskin. A lot of the tone, the vibes, to the point where like the music cue, the score, like Hideo Kojima.
I'll take your word for that.
Hideo Kojima is just like, that's mine, yum, and just takes it.
Thank you, John.
Yeah, thanks, John.
I'm gonna enjoy this, and I'm gonna put him in a cardboard box.
Yeah.
Not enough cardboard boxes for my taste.
Yeah,
I will say I was expecting that the whole time. Like, when does he hide in a cardboard box?
That would be cute. I feel like that's something that if they did do a remake today, they would do that. And then it would be like a hat on a hat on a hat. That would be such a meta reference today.
There was so much garbage in the alleys. It actually seemed like a genuinely good way to hide.
Actually, that's kind of fucked up that in this world that would be
Because like in the game, he's always in a desert. It's super dumb. Or like, or he's like in like a military base. But yeah, like he was in alleyways of dirty apocalyptic New York. I was like, he is going to go in a cardboard box, right?
Fuck. You've made some strong logical sense out of this.
I thought he would.
Fuck.
I thought that was where it came from. This is what I get for just dreaming.
For dreaming and for watching the movie good as well.
For making connections. Now, do you think Hideo Kojima also like took the I heard you were dead thing into Solid Snake, who has so many resurrections and like...
All right, that's funny. I hadn't really thought about that.
Oh, that's all I could think about. Every time I heard you were dead is I'm like, I don't even play these games, but I know he's like been resurrected or like cloned. And
yeah, there's cloning and then advanced aging and then you can't age. There's a lot of stuff going on there. Yeah. Interesting. Yeah, I don't know. And I didn't really know what to make of the So I think I heard you were dead runner, because that was one that didn't land.
I appreciate kind of their commitment to it. Committing to a bit I always like. But yeah, it doesn't have enough like meat on its bones to be funny.
Yes, I agree.
And it doesn't give any information. Like, it does kind of feel like what we said earlier of like, he clearly went from soldier to criminal. So like, I thought you were dead means like, oh, did I think the criminal died or did I think the soldier died? Or like, metaphorically you died, but clearly they actually think Snake was dead.
Some of them do.
Yeah, like I actually had to Google which movie came first because I'm like, is this the second one?
Yeah.
Did he die and escape from LA and we've watched them in the wrong order?
This is where that running joke reference, that runner, it does cross that line from a lot of the good writing, which we just complimented of, like, it feels like a world that's already in motion and already exists, into feeling like I missed a movie. And that one reference really pushes it into
And you never want to kind of be unsettled as a viewer in that way. You never want to be like, especially 1981, when you can't look at your phone and be like, which movie came first? Yeah. Yeah, you want to be like, I think this is the first movie in a franchise. Pretty sure. Yeah. But yeah, that one didn't quite work. No. I do want to talk about like just the general vibes of this movie as well. Like, it looks good. The score is good. Everything feels right. Just the streets, the debris, the cars, the Duke's car with chandeliers on the fucking front, every bit of set design, the Brains lab being an old library that has like an oil pump in the back drilling through the earth where they found a bit of oil in New York. Because he's providing gas.
I love like every little bit of world detail and just the framing and look and everything about it.
It looks incredible. And John Carpenter shows so much restraint because he has put these really cool things like the oil drill and the chandeliers in the car. And those things never get a close-up or an explanation.
Yeah.
Like Snake never goes up to them and like punches the oil drill. And he's like, so this is where you get your gas, huh? Or like the chandeliers are never like, you see my chandeliers? They're awesome. Like they're just there. They're just part of the world. And they've probably been part of the world for like a decade now. So no one comments on them. But like, to have these cool set pieces and not like do close-ups of them is such restraint. Because like if I was the director, I'd be like, make sure you get the chandelier in the car. That's gold. People need to notice. And also like there's a big light on the back. Don't miss the big light on the back.
Yeah, one on the back as well. And really like it's just like the chandelier, like it is there, it's visible, but I agree with you. It doesn't get this like fuck you close up to be like, look at this cool prop. Yeah, it's really just like, it's in the wide shot, which makes it feel richer.
Yeah, it makes it feel like this is just like how the world works. Don't even worry about it. Yeah, this guy's got a chandelier car, but he's not like, I'm the chandelier guy.
Yeah.
It's not his whole personality.
It's just a piece of it.
It's just a piece of it. Terrible for driving.
It is.
When he's trying to cross that bridge and avoid mines, and you can see the chandeliers in his sightlines.
There is a reason chandeliers are not your recommended headlights. Absolutely. There's a reason we've never done that. So not the safest, not the best for vision. One other little world building detail on that same kind of like giving credit to John Carpenter is just there were two examples of sound design for this outside of the iconic music. But in the brain's lair, in the library that has the oil pump in the background, that's the only room in the entire movie that has the buzz of electricity.
Oh shit!
You know that like soft buzz that electricity makes, just
light
that like
bulbs.
that little low hum of like. It's laid in, obviously, like purposefully so, because that's the only room that has light bulbs and electricity that we've been inside of for the entire movie. Everything else was like torches and stuff like that. But just that little detail, which is also why like the pacing feels so slow and intentful, is that there's no bedding sounds. This world's eerily quiet, and it's so noticeable then that like when you go into as soon as you walk down those steps into the brain's place, that you then immediately start hearing that soft of like a tube TV that's on in the background but not tuned to any station. Like that hum of electricity. And it's just such a little detail. And there was one other one like that where I'm like, only this room has this bedding sound. And it's just so smart. It's such a smart attention to detail.
I'm happy for you. Yeah. No, I think that's really cool. And that was actually that's actually a great segue to the next thing I wanted to talk about, which is like John Carpenter's movies always get like John Carpenter's The Thing and whatever. Yeah. And it's crazy that he writes, direct, and does the sound.
Right.
So, like, I don't know if room tone is really what he's doing, but, like, that seems like a big enough choice that he probably said to do it.
I think that, like, a room tone like that where it is
like a clear like
an affectation of the world that he has built. I think that is a director's choice. That is not a sound engineer's choice.
But like, yeah, it's just incredible when someone writes, directs, and does sound. Like this is just like it's like him and James Gunn and Jordan Peele are the only ones doing this these days.
Yeah.
It's rare and it's cool.
It's very cool stuff.
And to like make good movies.
Yeah.
Other people do it, and I'm not listing them.
Right.
My list has been crossed out.
Yeah, we don't need to go into like the film work of Tommy Wiseau or whatever it might be. Like, you know, like there are student films where it is done, and there are people who are doing it, but not necessarily doing the game at that level. And then there are people like Christopher Nolan who it's like you shouldn't be allowed to do it. So like there is stuff like that where it's like I think you're legally deaf and you shouldn't be allowed into an audio production studio.
Let someone else do the sound, Chris.
Let someone else do the sound, Chris. You definitely have deafness to certain frequencies and are completely mixing your movies wrong.
I can't believe you even heard your Peloton instructor say that it was bad.
I don't know this story.
He was being interviewed and he was doing like a Peloton workout. You know how they're like on the screen? He's like, I'm dying on this Peloton workout and my instructor starts bashing my movie. She was making fun of Tenet in the middle of the workout.
Awesome.
She was like, anyone go to the movies this week? That's 2 hours of my life I'm not getting back.
Awesome. That's funny.
So, and then someone found the clip because like there's only a few instructors on Peloton.
Sure,
so,
yeah.
So they're like, we found it. It's this lady.
Awesome.
So he got told straight to his face.
Well, that's very funny. I did not know that story. Thank you very much for
I've
sharing
got
that.
all the inside knowledge.
That's incredible. But yeah, John Carpenter ain't getting made fun of by a Peloton instructor. I tell you that.
None of them are.
None of them. What are we?
I've checked. I've done a survey.
Do you mean none of the instructors?
None of the instructors.
Okay.
I'm making fun of John Carpenter.
Okay,
That
all
would
right.
be such a weird flex.
That would be an interesting.
Because he's not
flex.
making new movies.
No. So it would be kind of a wild move.
It would be weirder than the Christopher Nolan one.
It would be, frankly, bold. That's right. I couldn't agree more. Oh, my God. Well, back to Escape from New York.
Back to Escape from New York. Other little things. This is like so good and made me so sad. This character Romero, he's Duke's like right-hand man. He was incredible.
Wow.
What like a character piece. Well, first of all, his hair was also the best in the whole movie. He had this really cool look.
Yeah.
But like this just like kind of if the Joker was a henchman, like I don't know how else to describe him.
Yes.
He was played by Frank Doubleday, whose IMDb I went through, and I'm like, how did you ever have like any other cool roles like this that I can tell?
Yeah.
Like he did like one-offs of episodes of a bunch of shows, but like I thought he was so interesting. I was so captivated. Even that first scene when all the soldiers land in New York and he's like, touch me and he dies. Don't leave in 30 seconds and he dies. And he just starts counting down from 30. And it's so badass.
Yeah.
Like, I really think he should have been the foil to Snake.
Yeah.
Like
anyone else flies in and he dies. And just like the fact that he has sharpened teeth as well.
That's great.
Filed down and sharpened teeth.
Uh-huh.
Whoa.
Yeah, that dude was cool as hell. I was so sad when he died and didn't get to make it to like just one more fight scene or something, or just get to do something else cool. I was like, this guy slaps.
But like at the same time, I thought there was something cool about just being like, and then this character gets stabbed. Like things go nuts.
Chaotic world.
I enjoy the kind of chaos of the world for sure. So I think that like that is something that's interesting about it. But I agree, you do kind of like hope for almost a little bit more for a character like him because it's so outlandish and bombastic and big and cool.
Yeah, there's nothing more heartbreaking than like, oh man, look at this cool character piece. It's over.
Yeah.
Yeah.
It felt like I was watching like early Doug Jones type of thing where it's like you've created like a physical performance. Like
yeah, when he's sitting there and like the president or Duke is shooting the president and then he's sitting there and he's not even doing anything, but I just couldn't stop looking at him.
He has made a choice to be like, it's weird because he's clearly meant to be this kind of like drugged out, insane character, but he's not playing it manic, which actually makes it scarier. He's playing it very stiff and rigid and doesn't move at all until he does. And then he snap moves like a meerkat poking its head up out of a hole. Like it's these kind of snap neck turns and movements. It's almost robotic. And that's scary as well to be like, he didn't go for this kind of like loose fluid kind of like drug user that you see a lot in film and television. He went for something that was a bold, unrealistic, artistic choice that exists in this unsettling place.
Yeah, and not the kind of guy who like moves like a robot and you're like, oh, when he's a brick shithouse who's gonna just kick your ass. You're like, no, he's probably gonna torture you and do crazy stuff.
Yeah.
You can feel it in his eyes. And yeah, I thought he had so little to do and he really shone.
Yeah, huge implication there. Yeah. Kudos to Frank Doubleday with a wildly
Doubleday. Great name, great performance.
Great character, great hair.
All of it.
Yeah, looked like Dragon Ball Z hair. I don't even know.
Ooh, yeah. If you had to real life Dragon Ball Z someone's hair.
Yeah, he did have that kind of vibe and power. Yeah. Well, I am feeling good on Escape from New York. How are you feeling?
I'm feeling great. I cannot wait to watch Escape from LA. Very excited.
It's Escape from LA, I think, is one that I've only ever watched once. New York, I've watched multiple times. LA, I think I've only watched once.
All right.
Yeah.
Well,
I think
I'm at 0.
Yeah, yes. Oh, you're at 0 on that one. All right, interesting.
I don't even know if he gets out.
It could be. It's
I
the
know
end of the franchise.
I know there's not a third one.
Yeah.
So
Yet.
Oh shit.
We'll see. Well, let's go in for the close. Let's ask the final question of what would you change. So now that we've discussed everything we've discussed, what would you change about this if you could change anything? Before we do ask the final question, we will remind you, as we do every week, to please take a moment to rate, review, and subscribe on Apple Podcasts, Spotify, Podcast Addict, wherever you might get your podcasts. It helps us move up the charts, find new listeners, and it's a free way to support the show.
It's a free way to help us on the charts and in our hearts. As we always say, it means so much to us. We read them, other people read them, and they're like, these guys slap. So just let everyone know that we slap, and we're bangers, and we're hip, and we're happening. Any cool adjective, and make it a 5-star review, because that's as many as you can get.
Absolutely. And that is an awesome way to support the show. As well, if you do want to support the show monetarily and get cool bonuses for doing it, you can check out our Patreon page. Our Patreon page is where you can subscribe at whatever is in your budget. You can do $1, you can do 10, you can do more or less, you can change it up, you can cancel on any given month if your budget changes. It is customizable to whatever works for you, but the important thing is that money helps support this network, it helps keeps this podcast going, it helps us do everything that we do, and you'll get cool bonuses. Like at the $3 level, you get each episode early and ad free, so you can listen to it without ads and you can listen to it a little bit early. And then as well, at the $10 level, you will get a bonus episode of this podcast every single month. And the new episode for this month that will be up right now is Escape from LA, as we mentioned.
It is Escape from LA. You will also get access to all the previous episodes. There are so many additional episodes of Talk from Superheroes waiting for you. You'll instantly gain access if you join at the $10 level. And there's so much goodness. You get a lot of fun. You get a nickname.
Oh, yeah, you get a fun nickname.
Spoiler, you get a fun nickname when you become a $10 patron.
You get a carefully curated nickname chosen by Diana.
Curated.
It is a tasteful nickname that you get.
I do work really hard on keeping them tasteful.
They are tasteful. And you get that from Diana.
Don't want to hurt anyone's feelings.
No one will get hurt. So what you're going to want to do is you're going to want to head on over to our Patreon page at patreon.com/fromsuperheroes. That is patreon.com/fromsuperheroes. And now let's go in for the close. Let's ask the final question of what would you change? Diana, what would you change?
Well, quick one, as we said earlier, he's got to be in a cardboard box at some point, so that just goes without saying.
Naturally.
Obviously, in 1981, John Carpenter should have known this man needs to be in a cardboard box.
Yes.
My actual change is going to be very small. As we said, the pace needs to be picked up a little every now and then. There does need to be more of a pop of energy. I would like 1 or 2 fight scenes, probably the train fight scene and then Snake fighting for his life. Just be kind of a little bit more better choreographed and a little bit peppier. Like just kind of bring the energy up a little. Like they're fun and Snake's cool, but he's kind of got this like magic one punch unconscious thing going on, which is very badass, but I could do with some like I'm clever or like I have a really good fighting moves instead of a well choreographed fight. Just something to kind of like make me go like, whoa, like a Jackie Chan kind of like moment. Not like Jackie Chan because he's very special, but you know what I mean. Just a well choreographed fight scene or just a really clever way of fighting that kind of makes you go, whoa, this guy's so cool. He thought of a really cool way to use a bow and arrow or something. So yeah, just like some peppier choreography in like 1 or 2 places because right now Snake's kind of just cool because he seems cool and he doesn't actually like fight super well. Yeah,
I agree. He is just kind of, I am cool and that's why I win.
Yeah, he wins via coolness. Andrew, what would you change in Escape from New York?
I think I like yours. I'm definitely down for a little bit better fight choreography that would help pick up the pep a little bit. I think my just little pet peeve is I want some consistency as to what the level of fame Snake is at. I don't need it over explained. I like that a lot of it happens off screen, but the fact that it's like the prison guards don't seem to know him, but like the colonel does. So I'm like, okay, so maybe it's like people who are like high up enough in the world know about what the cool shit that you've done. And it's like he walks into the theater and Cabby is like, Snake, what's up, Snake? I know you. Some people know his face. Some people know his name. Sometimes it's people who are powerful. Sometimes it's people who are poor. And then the Duke doesn't recognize or know who he is. So I just kind of want I like that it's off screen, but I would like a small consistency added to be like, it's only the powerful people. Like, if you are in charge, you've heard about Snake Plissken. You know Snake, and maybe even if they know the name, but not the face. But when it's like a woman looking for a cigarette alone in an old Dippin' Dots store is like immediately like, I know you, you're Snake Plissken. I know exactly about you. Everyone knows about you. And then the Duke, the main foil of the movie, is like, I guess this guy's Snake. I've kind of heard someone once mention Snake, and it's like, I want to know, I want a more consistent level of fame for this character. Either he can't walk down the street without everyone knowing him, or only a couple of powerful players know him.
I agree with that. I think that's a very good change because it kind of doesn't feel like John Carpenter knows what Snake did to get this level of fame. Everyone just kind of knows who he is and some people don't. So it does kind of ruin what we love, which is that like everything feels like it happens even when you're not seeing it and that the world exists. And it does kind of have that slight vibe of like, I don't think you know what Snake's famous for.
Yeah.
I don't think as a writer you decided.
Or how he became famous.
Yeah.
Like, did people talk about him on the radio or was he interviewed on television?
Big difference.
And absolutely it is. A radio report about the hero in the war is one thing, and he was every night. He had an interview with Barbara Walters that was televised. That was the most watched interview in the world. Him and Oprah sat down. It's like that's a totally different level of fame / infamy as well. So that's where I'm at. I like that. Yeah, I like how you describe why that doesn't work as well. Is that like, yeah, it is something that it's the missing detail where you don't have to tell it to me, but I need to know that you know.
Excellent. Yeah, no, I think that's a great change. That would be good. That would be a fun time, and then we get to a pretty perfect movie.
Yeah, just a banger. You know, it's still not The Thing, which is my favorite, but
nothing's gonna be The Thing.
Nothing's going to be The Thing.
You know, you can make a lot of bangers, but you only get one thing.
Yeah, so you only get the one thing. Well, that is going to be it for this week for us talking about Escape from New York. Next week on the podcast, we were going to be back and we were going to be talking about the film Stardust.
We're talking about Stardust because it was directed by Matthew Vaughn, who's doing Argyle the week after.
That's right. So we're tying in the Matthew Vaughn-ness of it all.
We've done all the other Matthew Vaughn movies. We checked.
And there is Stardust with a star-studded cast who have done other things we've covered on the podcast. So it's going to be an interesting dip next week.
A real off the beaten path for us.
Slightly off the beaten path. I'm very interested. I think I saw this once when it came out.
I've never seen it.
I have a loose memory and understanding of this film. So let's see how this goes. We'll be talking about that next week on the podcast. In the meantime, if you want to get a hold of us, you can find me on Instagram, Blue Sky, and Threads. I am at Ivimey, Ivimey.
You can find me on Instagram and Threads at Pics of Diana and Tumblr at Words of Diana.
And you can find everything that we offer and everything on the network over at FromSuperheroes.com. Thank you very much, and we'll talk to y'all next week.
Bye.